Oh my god, cat. Chill the fuck out. You were not dying, quit crying.
You know how when people make compilations, like of the Game Grumps or whatever,
Yeah.
they'll have like a little like catchphrase thing that plays between clips.
Yeah.
It'll be like grump, and then it'll cut to the next one.
Yeah.
For our Phoenix Wright jokes, it should be Sylvester Stallone shouting, "Phoenix!"
Penis! Yes, it should be.
Nope, as usual.
Penis right. Cock attorney. Or whatever.
Help us, Phoenix. Help us, Phoenix, please.
We need your
Save
help.
us, Phoenix. Get us off on technicalities.
Did you just make that up, or is that like a song?
It was from it was from the second season of Schmigadoon, but the lady named Bobby.
Forgot that was a thing that existed, and I just relived the whole conversation we had to have where I was like, that's not a real show. And then you were like, who is it? Who is it that makes it?
Schmigadoon?
Yeah, who is it that makes it?
No, not made it, but it was one of the well, I think maybe it was directed, but it was also acted with Keegan-Michael Keyes.
That's who it was. You told me that like he was in it, and I was like, oh, okay, you know what? I totally believe that guy is in a thing called Schmigadoon. That does make sense to me.
Have a nice day.
Understandable. Have a nice day. Anyway, hi.
I'm also realizing. Are we rolling yet? I don't know if we're
rolling.
Dude,
we've been rolling. They were here for the whole Schmigadoon thing.
I need like a what the red sign that says.
I said we could stream now, and then I pushed the button.
I've been hey everyone, I'm Taylor. That's Lujack.
I'm Lujack. That's Taylor.
Lujack, hit that button. I will tell you. So I was talking about genres and how I don't know if they officially added this or if it's still like an ongoing meme kind of deal, but Dwarf Fortress and Deep Rock Galactic have been petitioning Steam to add a dwarf category to games. That way you can look up games that are about dwarfs. And I'm like, all right, that's valid. That'd be fun. While we're at it, though, can we add a desk sim type style category? And specifically because simulation is way too wide of a category, and desk sims are not only a very specific type of game, but they tend to be indie games, and as such, they're not very well advertised, and basically, if you're looking for anything that isn't Papers, Please, you're gonna have a hard time.
Yeah.
And it's like, I want Desk Sim to be like a whole thing where Papers, Please, Dead Letter Department, which is still coming out, Voices of the Void, which I think is still coming out, Signal Simulator, which is supposedly finished, but it's poor pacing in my opinion. It was neat, but stuff like that, where games where you're primarily at a single desk and you and you just get really good at putting all the pieces together and but Papers, Please, you're checking discrepancies.
Desk game?
You know, it almost is. I would say it's adjacent. It would be funny. It would be funny if you evolved. You know how mascot horror sort of evolved from Five Nights at Freddy's, from its popularity. I'm just thinking how funny would it be if someone was inspired by that, but in a different direction, where they're like, oh man, this inspires me. I would love to have more games that are desk horror. They're not mascot themed. It's just I do love the concept of games where
desk horror,
where you're at a desk, but as opposed to desk sims, it would be more desk strategy, where it's I have to activate these buttons so the velociraptors can't get to me.
Yeah, I do love the whole just idea of like a dusk horror game. Um, but like you gotta find a better way to justify it than what Five Nights at Freddy's did, because Five Nights at Freddy's was basically, look, man, the doors lock, but if there's no power, they don't be locked no more. Like, what do you mean?
People
Nothing
complain
about this
about
game
that, but
makes sense.
I'm like the actual issue. I think the real issue is that they should have a manual. They should have like a manual lock system. They should be closed electronically, but if the power goes off, you can open them. Like you can still open them, but you could also just keep them locked if you want. Because logically speaking, like the usual retort of like, oh well, shouldn't they stay closed if the power's off? And it's like, well, you wouldn't want to like get stuck, right? Like,
I mean, well, well, would the power? Wouldn't the power come back on the next day though?
that is a good, yeah, the solar panels or whatever. You know, you're just sitting in there. It's like, oh no, I'm stuck in here.
Like I can't
until
imagine.
6:01 a.m.
Like, there's gotta be some kind of like, it can't just be designed so that if the doors close down for the night, you're just stuck in there for however long it takes to. I don't know. It shouldn't be a situation where you have to spend longer than like an hour in there for the solar panels to charge up when the day like comes back when your shift ends. I would rather just be stuck in work for an extra hour waiting for doors to recharge than like
Yeah.
go outside for anything. I'll piss and shit in a bucket. I'm not going out there with the murder robots.
I mean, that's the isn't that part of the joke in Five Nights at Freddy's that like there's like what's the word? The animatronics follow like John Wick style rules where like if it's six in the morning, you're declared as like what's the opposite of excommunicado? You're declared like officially sanctioned, and so you'll just walk past them.
Yeah.
Like presumably you leave work and they're all just standing around, and you're just like, nope, I'm not touching those. I don't have to deal with those. And if they ask, hey, did you move the animatronics? I'm like, no, and no, because I didn't have to. It's part of their. You left me a series of messages about how they do that on their own. That's for the day shift to deal with.
That's for the day shift to deal with. I'm done. The day shift, they gotta deal with the spooky moving on their own bullshit. They can deal with having to move them back where they go after they. I'm the one that's getting the risk of getting killed and stuffed into an animatronic suit. Fuck you.
The real reason why Freddy Fazbear. Look, if Freddy Fazbear's hadn't had like the murders or whatever, then they still would have gone out of business because the whoever started the business spent way too much on buying a ancient tablet from Egypt that brings all the suits to life at night.
I got that! I got that reference!
Dude, why isn't there a night at the museum?
You know, I was just thinking that I would love a cop-out game for some reason. Like, I think that would be fun.
Let that simmer for a moment. Let that simmer. I'm thinking of it. I'm imagining it's Bruce Willis, Tracy. I always get his fictional name.
Tracy Morgan. Not Tracy Jordan.
Yeah, Tracy Morgan and Bruce Willis, and they're both like when you're playing the game, you're looking over their shoulders, and so every time you click something, one of them is like operating it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But they also talk to each other like it's a long drive in GTA, where every once in a while they like talk.
Oh yeah, just these GTA style like ride-alongs where you're just talking for like an hour.
And here's a little side note, is that I realized that like part of the brilliance of like the formula of Five Nights at Freddy's style game, like I think one of the reasons why they took off wasn't just that it's popular game or whatever. Like big AAA games are very like Spider-Man PS4 is a really popular game, but like indie creators aren't like emulating that because it's got a lot of mechanics. Whereas Five Nights at Freddy's, like when you go from thinking about like, oh, why do they use the magnetic doors or whatever, if you think about that from like a development perspective, it makes a lot of sense because it's like, oh, my character doesn't even have hands. Like, I am a floating camera who looks at like a tablet that flips in front of my face, and
Yeah.
most of the what's the word? Like what you see in the game is technically images of 3D environments that are already like baked in, and your the doors, like if you have like a point and click adventure style interface where you hit a button and it just kind of like flashes and then it closes the door, like it sort of keeps the immersion, sort of. I don't know. It's a very what's the word? It's a very streamlined formula. It's I feel like you can build your own like little story around that.
Yeah, I also just kind of love the idea of a level where you're like Tracy Morgan in a cell phone suit on a bicycle, just going fast.
That's a whole different genre.
Riding away from a dog. Fake ass Cujo! I mean, I get that that's a whole different genre, but it needs to be a level.
Look, I think I don't know about you, but I think that if you made like a cop-out style game with the cop-out characters, it would be a Telltale style game. Because like
I can see that.
I can see it so precisely. One, because as a Telltale style game, it's about relationships, and so like a buddy cop genre works really well with that. Where if you do it well or if you freak it up, like depends on, it'll alter like how good of an ending you would get. But
Jimmy
also,
will remember that.
yeah, Jimmy will remember that. But also like. But also like it offers you all of the like serious versus silly like moments where I'm just imagining the little like quick time event where you can decide on dialogue options, and one of them is like yippee-ki-yay, and then and it just cuts to Bruce Willis going, I've never seen that movie.
There'd be like that whole cell phone bit where like Tracy calls, I keep calling them by their actor names, where like Paul calls Jimmy, and while Mangold and Hunsucker are like heckling them, and they're just like, hey, you see who stand in front of us? These guys, the unfuckables. So just have that, but like you have to select all these different like dialogue options for shit talking them over the cell phone call.
Ooh, it could be one of those ones where like it's like a Mad Libs where you put the pieces of the sentence together.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Dude, more video games should have Mad Libs in them. Like we know it's surprisingly, it's not as hard as you would think, as long as your voice actor can like make sure they keep the same tone with each word.
Yeah. Man, that would be so cool. Anyway, hi, welcome to the Cop Out podcast. What's up, everyone? We're playing Phoenix Wright.
I looked at my my notes here. I took a bunch of notes to make sure that we wouldn't like lose our
I'm glad you're doing that because I don't do that at all.
I don't want to be.
I just jump in here and I'm like, all right, what the fuck were we doing last time? We'll figure it out. All right, we're going.
All right, but on my notes. Okay, so here's what we know. Like I mentioned this a while back. For those who are watching these in sequence, you're like, why do they keep mentioning all the details? It's like, well, from your perspective, we're doing these in sequence, but from our perspective, there was like a multi-week gap, and
yeah, we haven't streamed for a little while.
So one thing we know for realsies, for surezies, is that the shot happened at 12:15 a.m. on Christmas. It was on Christmas because it was after midnight.
Is it really Christmas?
For a shallow cut for all of you horology fans out there, study time. We know for sure that the shot happened at that time because it activated the camera, and if the camera is activated like automatically and it has the metadata or whatever, then that's like the most reliable like bit of information we have like at all.
For sure.
Gumshoe mentioned that Edgeworth was seen leaving the park, And he mentions in this sentence that you're looking at right now, I wrote this down, that the next morning a body was found at the lake, and like, it's that part kind of bothers me because like, I don't know,
Seems weird.
maybe, well, it bothers me because like, I know there's every time a gun goes off, it doesn't necessarily mean someone's been shot. There are like accidents, misfires, misses, that sort of thing. But like, I don't know, if I was shot at a lake and then fell into the lake and I may or may not be dead, I would want them to check the lake soon.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, a little bit of a tighter schedule, please.
Yeah, maybe not wait so long.
You could see, just the Markiplier voice, you could see the police budget is just astronomical.
Police budget's so tight that they can't, like, investigate a nightly possible murder until the next morning after several hours have passed and they've definitely
the call went out and it's like, hey, can you go check the lake? And they're like, check the freezing cold lake we told no one to go to because it's the middle of winter and it's Christmas. I want to spend some time with my family.
Yeah, but also, that's your job. Do your job. Come on, guys.
Yeah, that's... Anywho, keep scrolling through there.
But yeah. Oh, that's right. We're doing a fucking testimony.
Yeah, well,
cross-examination.
I'm not doing the reading the dialogue because it's the green text. It means that it's said it before. I also wrote this down because I think this is very telling that, like, I put Lotta's knowledge. I don't think Lotta actually saw anything. She was surprised when we mentioned there was a murder and seems to be interested just to be involved in the process, the legal process. She does have a picture taken automatically by the camera, but I don't think she was an eyewitness. Which makes sense because she was... I put down... Which makes sense because she was camping at a park at midnight on Christmas. She was probably in her tent. It's cold.
Yeah, have the tent all zipped up, hiding from bears and whatnot.
And the whole point of having an automatic camera is that you don't have to stare at the lake.
Yeah, kind of the whole point. But the next one...
I think it's like I think that she claims... I mean, I vaguely remember this because I'm remembering bits and pieces from like a zillion years ago. But I'm pretty sure that Lotta isn't actually an eyewitness, but will claim to be an eyewitness because she wants to be part of the process. And then it's like, hey, isn't this like perjury or something? Or, I forget what the term is.
Yeah, I think it is perjury. That feels like super illegal because that's when you like lie under oath, isn't it?
Yeah, in this case, it's at minimum it's like, what is it, obstruction of justice? Because like you're just wasting our time. We only got 3 days, anyways.
Yeah, man, we got shit to do.
And then in my questions section, I put, who called the police? It was probably Miles Edgeworth. Otherwise, why would Lotta seem so surprised that she got a picture of the crime? Like, if she saw the crime, she would have called the police, not, like Miles.
Yeah.
She wouldn't be so surprised when we mentioned there was a murder.
Yeah, doesn't make a lot of sense.
Plus, she also wouldn't be as surprised because, like, if she was awake when the shot rang out, then instead of being like, oh, hey, I have instead of, I don't know, she would have been like, oh, I heard a gunshot. Maybe Gordy uses a gun. I don't know.
Maybe. Gordy with just like, what is... I don't know, what's name a gun? Name a ridiculous gun for a giant sea monster to have to shoot someone with.
Probably that, like... I forget the name of it, but there's a gun that's basically like... what if you took, like, an M1911, like a 45 caliber, like, pistol, but, like, it's just two of them sort of welded together, so it shoots 2 bullets.
Honestly...
This sounds really neat and very gimmicky, but it turns out, as opposed to the M1911, which has been around for 2 world wars and is still used today, and it has been like reliable since it was invented. I forget the name of it, but like the double M1911, which is not produced by Colt or whatever. The double one, like it's not quite like harmonically built right, and so sometimes when fired, the action doesn't slide all the way back, and so it jams. And I'm just like, man, if you're gonna make a gun this gimmicky, at least make it work.
You know, the whole gimmick of a game like Far Cry 2 where your guns like jam for no reason is kind of neat if implemented like competently, but like a gun like that would make sense to have jamming on you if you're using it in a fight. You know, if guns like that were in a game.
Oh yeah, well, and that's the thing is that like
Like if there are different level of guns in a game, there would be a scale of like guns that jam and are a little less reliable to like higher tier guns that like don't jam ever, and you just gotta keep them clean or whatever.
Well, that's the thing is that from what I've learned, I'm not like super familiar with all the things that like actually cause jamming, but basically like any mechanical issue that prevents like the next round from cycling will cause a jam. It's why people will say that like revolvers are reliable, and it's because like they're very simple mechanically. So as long as the cylinder can rotate and it's got actual bullets in it, it'll work.
Is that why so many characters use revolvers?
Sometimes, but sometimes it's a stylistic choice. Kind of like Commissioner Gordon, even in like, I don't know, the 2010s or something, you could imagine him using a revolver, and then all the other guys at the precinct are like, why not have a different gun? Well, it's reliable. Yeah, but like so is like a well-cleaned gun of any other kind.
Yeah.
What if I don't need that many bullets to take out a suspect? Well, I mean, what if you're dealing with like a supervillain or something? I got a point.
I do like the whole concept of having like a revolver all-select from Solid Snake, where it's like, well, what if you run out of shots? And it's just like, bro, if I need more than one shot, then it's gonna be a long day for everybody.
Well, LuJack, if you needed to use more than one bullet, you weren't using a Jacobs.
Well, obviously. Anyway, I'm gonna.
Yeah, it was a what's the word? Oh, I think it was Far Cry, Fallout New Vegas. They had it that guns can jam, but they jam as like a sort of like chance based on how low their durability is.
That makes sense.
And I really like that. But on top of that, they had like little animations as well, where like if you had like a perfectly pristine gun, you would just take it out and it would work. But if you had one that was like a really low condition, you would take it out and then like rack the receiver a few times to make sure there's no dust in it. Like you'd actually like like the character would be checking to make sure it's gonna work.
Are there like any actual negative consequences in Red Dead 2 to not cleaning your pistols?
I recall, well, going back to what I said about revolvers, I don't know if any of the guns in the game can jam, but I know that it lowers their damage and accuracy. I think damage is more of a game mechanic. I don't know how much fouling in the barrel could actually do that. But accuracy makes sense.
Right. Anyway, did you...
It's like, oh, it's not just the barrel. It's also that if the grip is kind of dusty, you can't get as good of a grip on it, and so you're not as accurate. Like, yeah. Sure, whatever.
Yeah. Did you find any clues on the body?
A single bullet was recovered from the body. He was shot through the heart. Fatally.
You're to blame.
I was gonna say that.
Come on, man.
Oh yeah, you were reading for karma.
Oh,
you
wow,
gotta
that's
throw your
right.
gut into it.
Hold on. What voice was I doing for this guy?
You were going for like Imperious Vampire, and I was saying like go for it, but to do it, you have to bring like a voice that's normally quiet. You'd have to basically do like a loud whisper.
Like Kingpin from Daredevil?
Yeah, it's sort of like that, where it's just like, Judge, here's the bullet. Judge, here's the bullet.
Judge, here's the bullet.
You gotta put your gut into it to really get it. But like, Yeah, you were doing pretty well last time, so that's neat.
Ah, thanks. It didn't strike bone, so its shape is well preserved.
Very well. The court accepts this bulletin to evidence.
I got a bullet.
Bailiff, please bring me one of those little sandwich bags to put this in.
Great continuity.
It says it's 22 caliber, and editor, can you put up a screenshot of the like little cinematic with the gun and how we were joking about how comically wide that barrel was? Bro's using like a 60 caliber flintlock.
Obnoxiously large for no reason.
It's one of those things though where I'm like, oh, is this a clue, or is this what's the word? Is this an oversight? Is it gonna be like the pants thing?
Man, yeah, the pants still bug me. Like, why were they so large?
Going back to my theory was that like they wanted to make that a clue, and they had already made the art, like the sprite for it, and
it fucking feels like
then they changed it.
Because like if you look at the pants, they look like they should be going past the ground when he wears them, and like I know that there's some pants that go pretty low, but I don't think anyone intentionally designs a pair of pants to be dragging on the dirty ass ground, especially if you're a samurai. Like, I don't know, man.
Oh, I'm not reading this.
I'm gonna press him on this.
Are you sure about that?
Why are you sure about that? Well, why is that?
Well, we found the murder weapon in the boat.
The murder weapon?
A pistol. Detective Gumshoe, there's a vital piece of information. Please revise your testimony. Right. Sorry, Your Honor.
Why were the bullet and gun not already in evidence?
Man.
Like, it feels like it should be some
Gumshoe's just got a bunch of things. He's got a bunch of evidence in his pockets.
Like, it seems like he should have been required to make sure that those were there, and it feels like there should be some weird penalty for failing to do so.
he gets the debuff sound effect.
Like his little blue, like one of the blue bars pop up above his like head, and you see like a piece of it chip away.
Editor, put in the debuff sound effect, and also the little blue bars, but it's on our left, his right, and it's like facing his direction. It's like slightly blurry.
You fucked up. Boop. The murder. Yeah, no. Nick.
Doesn't it seem like Detective Gumshoe is being a little vague?
I bet Von Karma is feeding him lines. His
Whose line is it anyway?
I still have not actually sat through a proper episode of that show, like ever.
Maybe we have it on Plex. Let's just find one of those.
Oh, check it out.
I think people have made like best of compilations on YouTube. Maybe I can find one of those.
Sounds fun. His testimony is probably filled with landmines just waiting for me to press.
What do we do?
We press harder. Grit our teeth and press, I guess. What else can we do, my dude?
Well said, Nick. You're the man.
With the plan.
I am a lawyer.
A man called into the station around 30 minutes after midnight.
That's the other thing. A man called into the station.
Oh, what man? You received a call from a man?
No, we already did that joke.
Wait,
that's on my list of why I don't think it was Lotta.
Wait, hold on. What joke? What was the joke?
We already did the joke of a man called into the station. What man?
The man with the power. What power? Wait, so did we read this line? Did we do this whole dialogue?
Yep.
But you said there was a woman
Maybe.
camping there. She was the one who heard the 2 gunshots, right?
There were 2 gunshots.
That woman, the man who... hold on. That woman and the man who called in the report are 2 different people, obviously. Different people? There were 2 witnesses. Their testimonies were quite similar, however. Today, I've summoned the woman who was camping. The woman who was camping? A lot of heart? What happened next, detective? I don't know if I'm, like, getting worse or better with Von Karma.
You enunciate more. Don't get, what's the word? You gotta put a little bit more air into it.
Alright. We're to the scene of the crime as fast as we could. How fast was that? I've basically decided to just start pressing on everything, essentially. That's how I'm playing now. How long was it between receiving the report and your arrival at the lake?
Well, I'd say it was about 3 minutes.
That's pretty fast.
Oh, I think we read this.
Did we?
Motto for the month is get there quick.
Objection. Detective, you will refrain from casually revealing department secrets.
I think it's because you're going so low that it's hard to enunciate.
Yeah,
You go up like a couple.
Yeah,
if you raise your register just a little bit.
Detective, you will refrain from discussing specific evidence that I don't want the court to know about.
Yeah. Yeah, and then just add like a little bit of what's the word? It's got to be commanding presence. It's like like let me try. We're like, I look forward to your next year's salary review.
I look forward to your next year's salary review.
So much to look forward to these days.
She's like, I'm just trying to do my job, man. Look. This is no.
I wonder what his name sounds like in Japanese.
Gumshoe? Gumshoe? Gomeshu? Gomushu? Gomu no shoe? Gomu.
Yeah, hold on. I'm looking it up. I'm looking it up.
Gomu no pistol? Gomu no ita?
Okay.
Wait, is it no ita? Wait, how do you...
Hold on,
I don't remember.
Huh, I thought there would be like a... There's usually like, the Japanese version in the, at the start of the article. That's weird.
Weird.
Oh, okay, in Japanese, his name is Kisuke Tonokugiri.
Wait, he has a whole different name in Japanese?
That's interesting, yeah.
What? Man, they just call him Gumshoe here? Man.
Yeah, in Japanese, Kisuke is a reference to Kisuke Kawada, a Japanese rock musician, and Tonokugiri, the kanji Nokugiri, roughly means jigsaw. Shu Takumi wanted to have a blade pun similar to Edgeworth's Japanese name, but wanted something more dull than a sword. That's interesting, though. I thought his name would be, like, translated literally because, like, I know that detectives aren't, like, an American thing specifically, but, like, you can just do that.
You can just do that. Why is he called Gumshoe here? He had, like, a real proper name?
Oh, in the French version, his name is also Dick, but it's Dick Detective.
Of course it is.
If you ever want a little giggle, just go on the Bulbapedia for Pokemon and just look up what Pokemon names are in other languages?
That sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, some of them aren't translated, like Pikachu or Togedemaru. Like they retain their name in like most languages, even though their name is like a Japanese pun of some kind. But some have different names that are like puns in a different language, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, that's pretty. This is no this is no time for the daydreaming. Continue.
Yes, sir.
That's where you from Mr. Edgeworth. I think we read that. Wait, did we read that? Let's look at evidence. We got Lada's camera set up to automatically take a picture when a loud noise is detected. Faces like time of death, sometime on the 24th or 25th. Case 1, bullet shot to the heart, and you're to blame. Taken automatically on 12/25 at 12:15. Misty Faye, incident exhibit A is written on the back. Gordy article. Who had that bad a bullet? Pussfulness. What was Mr. Edgeworth like when you saw him then?
I think we asked this one too.
Did we? I think we probably asked all of these before the dialogue that we started out on when we started the stream.
Hold on, I'm don't tell Lou Jack. I'm gonna look at the walkthrough.
I mean, at this point. Detective, the court requires the facts, not your opinion. Oh yeah, I remember this. How many years have you...
I won't let this campaign be determined by facts. I'm rich. I've got fat stacks and super packs.
Oh, I remember that song. I'm trying to...
Epic rap battles.
Yeah, that was
like Obama versus Mitt Romney.
Yeah, Mitt Romney, and then Lincoln just comes in at the end like, fuck both of you, actually, but mostly that other guy.
I want to like you, but if you want change, just do it. I thought it was on my brain
until a bullet went through it. You, moneybags,
you're pancake, you're flip-floppity.
It's a country, not a company you can play like Monopoly. I will promptly reach across the aisle and bitch slap you as equals, of the people, by the people, for the people. Eagle! And just gets carried away by an eagle.
The eagle carries them away.
Rides off.
I love when someone shouts like an animal and then an animal picks them up or they turn into an animal.
I just love the gag of shouting something and then it happens. Like, just in general.
Like it's improv.
Yeah.
You have to talk to me over the radio. No.
No, I'm not gonna do that. Oh, so now
you just didn't.
He just did. What was that situation where they were in the chopper and crashing?
Where they weren't in a helicopter.
Right. So let's just.
Seattle.
Yeah. So let's just not be in a helicopter.
All right, and then it just cuts to them on the ground.
Just teleports out of the helicopter. Everyone's fine. Yo, watch World Doctors. Watch Archaeologists and then World Doctors. They're great.
Help them on that. What day are we even on? I'm trying to find here.
Hard, cold, objective facts. No, not those facts. Didn't suspect him of anything, but the next morning a body was found on the lake.
Check the court record for a moment.
Court record.
Alright.
It's autopsy.
Let me go back a little bit here. Alright, yeah, and we'll have to see Lotta first then. Shoot. I had to arrest Edgeworth. Murder weapon, we got the pistol.
Wait, what if the bullet doesn't match the gun? That'd be a twist.
That'd be funny if it's like combined bullet with gun. It doesn't fit.
What was that one movie? I haven't seen this movie, but I think I saw a clip of it. I think it was Right Along where he was like, "What are you doing? I'm looking for a gun to pick up so that I can get more ammo." "What do you mean?" "Well, in a video game, you can just get ammo from the bad guys." "That's not how it works." And he just like grabs the gun from the enemy side or something and starts shooting people. I can't remember. It was something like that.
That's technically true in the sense that like they would have to be the same like caliber.
I do like the idea.
If they are, then they might fit.
I do like the idea of someone like in a video game trying to jam some stray bullets into just a gun that they have, and it's like, no, it doesn't work like that. It won't fit.
I don't know how guns work. Like that in that like giant setting idea that you're coming up with. We should have a moment like that in the show that becomes like a whole like talking point where it's like, well, you can't use that. It says that the gun is like a 44 American, but they're using a 44 Russian, and it's like, and then like everyone in the comments is arguing if that works, and like people like who are familiar with bullets are like, oh, actually I checked this, and it's like depending on certain models of gun will accept both because they're just similar enough to like fit, and it would be something that someone would do in a pinch if they only had like that bullet or something. Like that'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
In what was it? I think it was like John Wick 3, where one of my I love set pieces like this. He like crashes into like a he like stumbles into like an antique store with a bunch of like stuff in it, and you're like, oh cool, there's gonna be so many props, and he like goes and like puts together an old-timey revolver out of like pieces of like half-functioning revolvers, like it's Fallout New Vegas.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And he goes, and it's like it's like when you go through like a cabinet to find like screws to like fix something, and all of them are different. So he's got like a bunch of these like bullets, and he's just testing each one to put in the chamber.
Oh yeah. Oh man, that's dude. How is there not a John Wick game?
There technically is, but it's if I recall correctly, it's I don't know how it works.
Is it good though?
It's not how you would think.
Like, is it any good?
If I were gonna make like a John Wick style game, I would have made it more not like a rhythm game, but more like a lot more like an Arkham Knight meets like there'd be a lot of grapples and such.
Right.
Yeah, the player would be rewarded for like combining like sticking to cover and grabbing enemies.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
A lot of gun fu in that movie. In those movies.
Murder weapon we found the boat.
Murder weapon.
Alright. Press them on the murder weapon thing.
No, the murder weapon we found on the boat was decisive
Press
evidence.
them on that.
Hold it. What about the pistol made it decisive evidence? Tisk, tisk, tisk. Ah, he has the same evil laugh as Edgeworth. He's like a clock. Tisk, 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 tisk. It's just the alligator from Peter Pan. Tisk, 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 tisk.
I don't think... Dude, thank you for reminding me, because that, wow, that kind of blew my, like, revived a memory of mine, where I'm like, oh man, this is one of my favorite weirdly specific tropes, is a villain who like has like one particular phobia of like some creature, and the creature has like a signature soundtrack. The creature's just constantly haunting them throughout the whole story with like a signature noise. Dude, if you give a creature a special sound effects, it's rad. They tried to do that, like, they tried to do that in a single scene, like, as in, like, there wasn't set up for it. They tried to do that in a single scene in Kong Skull Island, where, like, a photographer is, like, swallowed whole by, like, Skullcrawler, and then it, like, tumbles back into the mist, but the camera keeps going off, because, I don't know, it's on a timer? I don't know. But it's very cool, because it's just, like, this dense fog, and every once in a while, you see this little, like, flash from its like stomach, and like this little as it's like slipping around all quietly. It's beautiful. That's pretty neat. Kong Skull Island was like I would honestly debate that even though like the context of the wider universe is important, that like Kong Skull Island is the most thematically. It's like the purest form of what I would go with if I were to make kaiju movies.
I have watched Kong, I have watched Zilla, and I've watched Kong and Zilla, but I would have to watch them again because I don't remember a lot other than there was a cool Godzilla mech and Kong got a cool radioactive axe made from the same shit as Godzilla.
Kong, you saved me. Why? Godzilla. Monkey.
Monkey.
I just, yeah, just, I think I don't know if I could get, like, into it now, but, like, there were, like, sort of one of the fundamental, like, themes of Kong Skull Island that, like, established the themes that, like, they were trying to go with, for the rest of the franchise, but, like, didn't quite hit, was the concept of, like, the world, like, the environment, the ecology, the world and its ecosystem are larger and grander and more awe-inspiring and magic-y than mankind can possibly know about. And then that like theme is reinforced as like characters keep like the theme is reinforced because like characters who work alongside or at least like don't go out of their way to go like killing the wildlife tend to survive a lot longer.
Yeah,
and all the like villains are sort of like end up dealing with like the consequences of like, waking up giant monsters.
They get karma.
And I'm like, yo, this is cool because like this is a new era of kaiju film where instead of kaiju representing like these sort of big unnatural monsters that don't belong, now they're sort of representations of like Gaia's wrath.
Yeah.
Like they have like an actual part of the ecosystem. It's why like whenever someone's like, yo, what if like the Zillaverse or the Monsterverse was like mixed with Pacific Rim, and I'm like, only if those are two separate factions. Like that's the thing. The Kaiju and Pacific Rim are like an invasive alien species on purpose as the bad guys, and the Kaiju are like huge animals that like
just
are question marks amount of intelligent, but yeah.
Yeah. I love just the concept of like a mystical magical island. Pal World kind of like bothered me at first because I wanted it to be a setting where like pals were where it was like sort of a Pokemon world where like Pal World was a situation where just you had pals across the world. But from what I can gather from the lore, it's more like it's just this one weird island that's magical. And at first I was like, man, that's kind of dumb. Why can't they just be part of like the world's ecosystem? But then I realized, the fact that this island is actually like magic-y and has just all this ancient history built into it, like it feels like if Lost had like Mon creatures on it, You just on a weird magical island, and there are weird Mon critters on it that you use.
I'm trying my hardest to like combine those concepts, but I ended up just thinking like, man, imagine being on an island for like a few months, and all of your guys are there, and you're starting to go crazy because there's like some kind of smoke monster entity that you're starting to feel like, oh, what if this is purgatory? What if we died in the crash and this is purgatory? And then you figure out it's actually, it's not a what's the word? It's not like a psychopomp. It's a kaiju that just hangs out on the island and it causes like spatial distortions and confusion.
Yeah,
and that's just one of its powers.
Yeah, it's a weird.
Like, so we're not crazy, but we're driven crazy.
It's just like a weird ancient pal that you can tame. And then at
just
some
like a
point,
big lizard that digs in the ground.
Yeah, and then at some point the island will be revealed to actually be a giant time machine that's powered by the weird towers that are scattered throughout the island, and you'll turn those on and just start going. If
Wait, hold on, Blue Jack. But here's my thing, though. Here's my idea. So,
Hold on. No. Wait. No, before you interrupt, I wasn't done. I wanted to say, if y'all didn't know, I didn't know this. Lost is a show that I only watched like bits and pieces of as it was running. I watched just enough of Lost to be invested in the overall plot, but not enough to realize that the island was a time machine. And I'm not sure how I managed to watch just enough of this show to get some of the overall plot beats, but somehow missed that there was a time machine shit going on. But I did. That tells you how scattered the episodes were for me. I wasn't like a regular watcher. I would check in on it like monthly, be like, what's going on in Lost right now? Oh, there's weird numbers. I hope Hugo doesn't die.
I'm gonna look up like a recap or something of Lost, because that's like a cultural thing that I'm just not familiar with.
Yeah, no, the island's a fucking time machine.
I imagine Lost inspired a lot of like that, what would you even call that, like survival on island genre? Like, I know someone's gonna watch this video and be like, what do you mean survival on island genre? And I'm like, well, it's a setting, but it also implies a genre.
I mean, Lost would probably just be a base building simulator. Like,
no, not as like a game. I mean, like, in like there's like a sliding scale of island survival. Like, sometimes you play it straight and it's just like, here's like the harrowing tale of how we survived on this island. And sometimes you add some weird stuff where, you know, it's like was it The Forest or something, where it's like, hey, things are just gonna get weirder every time you learn something. It's just gonna get weirder. I feel like the full spectrum would be like Zero being like, I was gonna say Hatchet, but I've never seen Hatchet. Or Red Hatchet. Like Zero being like played straight regular survival, no super weird stuff. And then the other end of the spectrum would be like Ark Survival Evolved, where yes, they're on an island that is weird, but like the whole thing is like clearly some kind of alien experiment from the start, because everyone wakes up with like a crystal microchip in their hand.
And somehow dinosaurs are there.
Yeah. I like to, which, by the way, when that trailer like first came out, and I was like, oh, Ark Survival Evolved, my first thought was, well, of course the dinosaurs in the air. Dinosaurs are in the experiment. Aliens would love dinosaurs. They're cool.
They're pretty. You know what? They're pretty cool. That'd probably be the coolest thing about our planet if aliens came across and were like, "Yo, dinosaurs existed. Why humans take over?"
If you ever want to like, just like inspires like to fill yourself with awe and wonder, just imagine being like a Bronze Age person, like digging like copper in a cave, and you find like a fossil of like a T-Rex.
Yeah, oh dude, that's insane.
And you're like, what is this demon?
I imagine
was it banished into the underworld?
I imagine it's gotta be like that feeling when you're playing Borderlands 3 and you're like going through Pandora and you see the giant skeleton of like some creature that Typhon DeLeon take on. I feel like it's gotta be like that, where you're just like, this is a giant creature that existed, and that's just a thing that we don't know about in our planet's history, and that's fucking terrifying.
Well, you see, there used to be this like sort of a big ocean, and they were all alive, and then Typhon DeLeon showed up with his ham, and he hunted most of them down. But then his son died in the siege, and he had a change of heart, and he stopped hunting them.
Oh wait, no, that was you said change of heart, and I thought Persona, but no, that was Avatar. You were going for Avatar. I'm just doing the Koenma thing from Yu Yu Hakusho Bridge, where I'm just mixing everything together. I'm Koenma,
If I don't get the
very
microchip
cool.
and if they don't reactivate the microchip in their brain, then they're never gonna get off that island. Sir, I think you need to stop watching so many shows at the same time.
Anyway.
Alright, there were fingerprints. Yo, fingerprints! I'd rather not. You have a clear print from Mr. Edgeworth's right hand.
What? What does the Clone Saga have to say?
Order. Hold on. Sorry. Hold on. Order. There we go.
Nice.
Had to use the gavel.
Nice.
Mr. Edgeworth's fingerprints are found on the murder weapon. Yes, Your Honor.
Judge, this is the weapon in question. Judge, this is the weapon in question. Is that better or worse than what I was doing before?
Well, it's different, but like, remember, you gotta do the Cave Johnson thing. If you go low, you have to like push air, you gotta like, you tense your gut to get enough air out to be intelligible.
Judgy boy.
Yeah,
Judgy boy.
It's like singing. It's just like, Judge. You have to,
Judge.
And if you're not confident with how low you're going, just go a little bit higher.
Judge.
Just as long as it's better that it's...
What?
Judge, the area up ahead is flooded with radiation.
I'm just thinking if like Judge Dredd was in Smash Bros. Judge Dredd!
Metal Mario versus Obama.
And everybody clapped. Obama was there.
My little brother said that, like, this was like a zillion years ago. This was like the second, I don't know, Smash Bros. Melee, maybe Brawl, when he said that. I don't know, maybe that's too early. I don't know what the timeline is, but yeah, but back when like Obama was president, he said that, and he like did the voice really well, and it was like the funniest thing I'd ever heard. He's doing the Smash Bros. Voice, but for like any character. There was a tweet like that where it was just like, it was just Smash Bros. Announcer voice, Austin Powers, and then tiny compressed Wii Remote sound, Wii Remote speaker. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
I'll behave. I can't do. I'm sorry, I can't do the Austin Powers. I can do the Smash announcer, but I can't do the.
Mole, 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 mole.
I want to chop it up and make some guacamole. Sorry. Accepted into evidence.
This will added to the court record.
Judge Judy.
Judge. Versus Von Karma? I don't know.
Versus Metal Trunks.
Wait. Metal Trunks?
Trunks.
What is...
DBZ.
But what is there a Metal Trunks? There's no Metal Trunks. What?
No. Metal is an adjective that's applied to a character. It means they're in the metal mode the whole time.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. Look, man, I don't know a lot about Smash Bros. Members of the court. We now have the pistol used in the murder and the bullet found in the body. Detective!
Yes, sir.
Was the bullet found in the body fired from this pistol?
I think now you're enunciating too much.
Maybe? I don't know.
Just go like a little bit higher and I think you'll get it.
Alright.
Yes, the ballistic markings on the bullet match the pistol. Hey, Nick. There's a rope. We can use this to traverse pits.
Hey, Nick! A ladder. We can use this to climb up... I don't know. Cliffs.
Nick, ask the 3D printer to print us a ladder. Why would that work? It does the opposite of whatever we say.
Giant hole just appears on the floor and it falls to its death.
It's such a dumb gag, and I love it.
It's so good. Well, Doctor's
the
out,
ladder is a whole gag.
Ladder is a whole gag.
What do you mean ballistic markings?
Shocking. To imagine some... Okay, so enunciate and like weird airy bits.
Remember, if you want to do like tonally, this is a guy who's like 100% sure of himself, and even when he's not, he's 100% sure that he's convincing someone else. He's got to be like firm, which is why I recommended like, oh, it should be like a little deep, very enunciated, and sort of just like like a forced forced air whisper.
Right.
Imagine someone here does not know something. Like, it's just like a little bit aggressive.
To imagine someone here who does not know something as basic as ballistic markings.
Nick, he's glaring at me. Yeah, sorry I didn't take the forensics elective in my Shrine Girl class.
Yeah, like, dude, I talk to spirits. I don't know what the fuck you're. I don't know what. This isn't like the gotcha I think it is. It'd be a gotcha if, like, it was my field of study or something, but I'm a Shrine Girl. What the fuck do you think I'm gonna. Like, I'm not even supposed to be here. I'm here because my sister died.
Just cuts to. It cuts to Maya, and she's got, like, the pilot armor. It's like, I'm not even supposed to be here. I'm a rifleman. I was field promoted to like, captain the first day.
I was given it back on my first day when my commander died. He'd been secretly training me. None of y'all knew about that, but, like, it's a good thing he did. Y'all should be thanking him.
We have to put that in our notes, that mechs are sort of like, that mechs act sort of like companions or like war horses or trained dogs or whatever, where, like, they're the how well you work alongside them is like a key theme of like how effective they are, and that, like, that's why if you're like a rifleman, you can just be like promoted to pilot like immediately. It's like, hey, my mech likes you, so you're his godfather now.
Yeah, I would love if, like, in a third Titanfall game, instead of the AI just being like a unique thing to the Vanguard class that the SRS made, it became like more mainstream among like the other chassis as well. So, like, you could have other chassis, and I want just other chassis types to have the same kind of like AI built into it, so that you could have that as a bigger theme across like a third game where everyone has to like have like a proper relationship with their mech. Because in the second game, that's unique to you because your people made that class, and that's like a new thing you came up with. Everyone else, they don't have
Vanguard
that.
class Titans.
Yeah, the Vanguard class Titans are new.
What faction was it called again?
The militia, front.
Frontier militia. Yeah.
Frontier militia.
It was like there's a Vanguard class Tyson. Tyson.
There's a Vanguard class Tyson. Just gets to like
Titan. I think it's militia.
No.
And the guys, it's like all Vanguard class Titans are militia. And looking back on that line is way funnier when you if you compared it to like a real world example where it's just like, oh, it's a Jagdpanzer. I think it's German. Yeah, it's called. It's a German tank. Everyone knows that.
Watching the Evangelion movies, like, oh, the Wunder. I wonder what like major country had a role in creating this ship and influencing it.
Here's
the Wunder.
Hold on, I'm gonna.
Wait, no, Taylor. Before we get too far away from it, I was trying to make a joke earlier. You said, what was it, Stealth Tyson? And my mind just went to like Mike Tyson with a pair of boxing gloves, and he's like in stealth mode, crouch walking.
I can see that.
With like his face tattoo.
And in boxing they call it road work. You're supposed to like jog around, but if you really want to get strong legs, you can just crouch walk everywhere like you're doing mocap for a Left 4 Dead game. Bringing it back.
Shout out to mocap actors. Holy shit.
Shout out to mocap actors and their poor knees. I'm
fucking
sorry.
hell,
I'm sorry about your knees.
Take a human, evolve
them. Work too much.
Take a human, evolve them to have the absolutely worst developed back, like, of all species, and then have them be a mocap actor. Let's just really make humans miserable for no reason.
I'm sure mocap actors have much stronger backs. I think it's just the crouch walking is unusual. So like.
Yeah, but humans already have like
Yeah.
weird backs, man, to begin with.
True.
Like as a human, your back's already fucked.
Oh no! When you were, by the way, when you were mentioning the BT and like, oh, they should have more of these. It's like true, and I imagine that like part of it is just like the hardware and software cost of producing them, and part
Oh,
of it
yeah,
is
for
that
sure.
like because they're intelligent, you have to like raise them, you have to like train them and raise them, and like give them information and feed them soup. So, like if you can't just like make a copy, and if you could, it would be weird because it'd be like I am BT 7274 and you are 2. I also sent you a note so I don't forget. We should in that big setting idea. I would love if there's a character that feels like the kind of character who like dies immediately, but he doesn't. Like he's 2 weeks from retirement. Like he's an older soldier. He's a few weeks from retirement. He's like he barely survives the first mission, and the second mission at the intro he's like, hey, I was wondering if you could be like the godfather to my, I don't know, mech or whatever. But he doesn't die. That's the twist. Like he just keeps on keeping on. Like even like if he's like hit really hard and like he shows up in like the infirmary later and it's like, oh, they had to give me a robot leg, but I'm still here. Like he turns out to be way tougher than you'd think. It's like, yeah, that's why I wear the helmet.
That'd be really great.
All right.
Tisk. Tisk. Very well. I'll explain. Actually, Judge, you do it.
Actually, Judge, you do it.
Excuse me? Bro, you're a
Allow me to
prosecutor.
explain. No,
Shut
there's too much. Allow the judge to explain.
I'll explain. No, Judge, you do it. I don't wanna.
There's a picture of Inigo Montoya and it says, allow me to mansplain. No, there's too much. Allow me to man sum up. Me?
My name is Inigo Montoya.
Ahem. Ballistic markings are like the fingerprints of a gun. The barrel leaves distinctive marks on each bullet it fires. You can examine these ballistic fingerprints to see which gun fired the shot. It's quite accurate.
Indeed.
Do you ever think there's been like an issue where where a particular gun was too popular? A particular gun was like too popular, and so it wasn't useful for ballistic markings because it's like, oh, it came from this type of gun. It's like, well, it's a very common model, so.
It came from this Predator cannon
Probably the one
specific. It came from the Predator
It's
cannon.
probably the one we found in the trash can in the alley, but.
No, it came from the Predator cannon, which is typically used by the Vanguard class. They're SRS Titans, made by the SRS. Yeah, all Vanguard classes are SRS, bruh. That doesn't help with ballistics.
Dude, imagine. Oh, this would be hilarious. Imagine if imagine if you could put like, you know how. This isn't a thing anymore, but like. But in like World War II and stuff, you and into the Cold War, you would put like markings on your planes and your vehicles. You know, to Hitler would love, and it'd be like a bomb that's got like his name on it or whatever, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But like, or like the shark faces on planes or whatever. I was thinking about that, but with mechs, which we do see with the in Titanfall. But yeah. I'd have it that on the vortex generator, it says on like the palm of the hand or something. It would say like, or no, it says on the back of the hand, "I am rubber and you are glue."
That'd be funny.
It's too small for the enemy to see, and it's on the back of your palm, so it doesn't make sense. It's a cosmetic for you. It's for the pilot.
Yeah, for sure. I'm rubber and you're glue. This leads to one inevitable conclusion. This leads to one inevitable conclusion. The bullet found in the victim's
Very
heart.
godparents!
Very godparents! Was without a doubt fired from this.
Karma, what's that on your neck? Is that your ear?
Whoa, wait, hold on. Karma's got piercings. I didn't notice that till now.
I'm trying to think like how the style fits together. I don't know if like dot piercings are like a thing that matches his style.
Yeah.
But I imagine that now. But I'm just imagining it's like he got those, but he's still Von Karma. So it's like, oh, I have three piles of paperwork that say that I can have this stud piercing. That wasn't in. The judge is like, yes, that was always allowed.
Yeah, that's fine. You can have it. No one cares. Was without a doubt fired from this pistol. This pistol, which, as you may recall, was covered with the defendant's own fingerprints.
Oh, hold on, gavel time. I keep wandering around the room. That's why. Order! Order!
This is bad. This makes it look like Edgeworth did it.
I mean, at best it looks like Edgeworth would be like it would be self-defense.
Yeah, for sure.
That's like being charitable. Although, I know this isn't like a level of detail that like this game would have, but I'm just imagining like a forensics type game where you put the pieces together and it's like, well, his fingerprints are on the gun. And it's like, yes, but did you see the position of the fingerprints? And then it shows like a diagram. It's like, could you explain to me how you can fire a gun by holding it like this?
That'd be funny. Well, Judge.
I'd say it's almost decisive. Yes, that's not something I'd want to hear from a judge. Actually, I could declare a verdict at this point. However, I've always wondered what the I don't know enough like actual law to know what the rules are between like judges declaring something and a jury deciding something. I always thought that like the jury generally technically decides a lot of the like the details, and the judge is the for lack of a better term, the legal equivalent of a master of ceremonies. Like he does the proceedings. He makes sure, ideally, like a judge makes sure everyone's following the rules and protocol. But that like technically the jury is the one doing the I guess the judging.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes they're called justices instead of judges.
I guess. You wish to hear You wish to hear the witness speak, no doubt. Very well. I am somewhat fatigued and so I will take a brief break. I will call my witness after the recess. Which will last 10 minutes.
It's like, yeah, he has to lay down in a coffin full of the soil of his homeland. Or
I'll do like the what was that vampire movie? Like the moon? Is it Moonlight?
In the Shadows?
I want to say it's called Moonlight.
Twilight?
So no, not Twilight. It was some vampire show about like a detective guy who's a vampire, and he solves crimes.
Huh.
And fuck, where was I going with this? You remind me specifically of something. Oh yeah, he slept in like a coffin of ice. Like he would sleep in like a coffin. It would be like filled with ice for some reason. Or am I confusing that with Daredevil?
You might be. I mean, he's a little vampire-y.
I mean, not Daredevil the show, Daredevil the movie, because Daredevil the movie had this whole thing where he like slept in a coffin full of ice.
He sleeps. I understand the confusion because in the movie, Daredevil sleeps in a sensory deprivation tank. It's basically like a closable bathtub full of. I think it's supposed to be like salt water or some other like. It's not like water, just water. It's got like stuff in it to make you more buoyant.
Seems
to, like,
kind of
cushion you.
dangerous to sleep in there.
Well, that's that's why it has to be like really salty water. Like it can't just be water, because I mean, one, you would probably get pretty pruny anyway, but no, it's supposed to be like some kind of liquid that has a higher viscosity than water. That way you float in it easier.
Right.
There's probably like a whole science to it. I imagine actual sensory deprivation tanks like supposed to have like a seat or something that's adjustable, so you can not a seat, that would ruin it, but I don't know, they're supposed to be calibrated.
I do know
no,
that he did definitely sleep in a coffin. I just can't remember if it's filled with ice or not. I do remember that being a coffin for sure, because I remember one episode where one of his vampire friends like woke him up in the middle of the night, and it was like, why are you in my house? He's like, I'm looking for someone, and he just goes, well, you think they're in here? Because he's like in a coffin, so I was like, why are you waking me out of a coffin when you're looking for someone? They're not going to be in here, dude. I don't know what you think I'm going to
Imagining
do.
each of the 3 vampires from What We Do in the Shadows show, like reacting in that same way, but in like with different lines.
Yeah.
Who are you? What are you doing in my house? I was looking for something. Why would it be in my coffin?
I need to watch.
Landor, the relentless, because I would not relent. They'd be like, you relent a little, and I'd be like, no, I can't make exceptions.
I'm not relenting. I cannot relent for you. If I relent for you, I have to relent for
I have to
everybody.
relent for everybody else, and that's not fair.
That's not fair.
Dumb.
That's not fair to the people I don't relent to.
I learned this recently. This is really messing with me. You know how sometimes you'll see an actor for like a whole show, and then you'll learn that like they have like a different accent or something in
Yeah.
real life. You're like, oh, that's interesting. Like I never knew that.
Yeah.
But for me, I need to know. I need to know what if Matt Berry actually sounds like that all the time. Because every role I've seen Matt Berry in, he does his outrageous British accent. Like he has these like really what's the word? Like huge emphasis in his line delivery. Like he has very interesting line deliveries. And he's very good, but like I learned recently he was in he got a role in like a cartoon, and he does his like signature Matt Berry voice for that. And so I was like, okay, I saw him in What We Do in the Shadows, and he had his Matt Berry voice. I saw him in Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, where he had the same accent and the same like attitude. And he played a character in a cartoon called, I think it was like 12 Forever, and I only saw clips of that because someone was doing like an analysis on like what went wrong, and it was like, oh, and Matt Berry's in this, so like at least that's good. But Matt Berry is still doing Matt Berry voice, and I'm like, is this his thing? Is this like Giancarlo Esposito playing villains? But with Matt Berry, it's like I will play a character, but like I get hired to do the Matt Berry voice.
Yeah.
I would be like, imagine how disappointing it would be if you saw like a character that was like mocapped by Matt Berry in like an Alan Wake live action looking like face and everything, and then he just sounded like a normal guy.
What are you doing? A 10-minute recess now.
I can't do a good Matt Berry impression without cursing though, because that's like half of his lines. Wait,
Just bang your flimsy gavel and get on with it, man. Okay, this judge needs to assert his authority, and this prosecutor needs to be fired.
I'm listening to you. Now I'm fulfilling my responsibility as a judge by listening to what you say, but asserting my authority as the judge by banging this gavel and getting you out of this court.
By banging this gavel and telling you to get the fuck out of my courtroom anyway.
Here's your passport, here's your voter ID, here's your an ID supplement. Get the heck out of my booth.
Get the heck out of my booth. Uh,
Make no trouble.
fucking hell.
I noticed, this is a little side note, but I noticed that in Papers, Please, that your character always says if the person you're inviting in is an Arstotzkan citizen who's like returning to Arstotzka, you'll say "Glory to Arstotzka." But if they're from anywhere else, you say "Make no trouble," and it's always that line.
Weird and creepy.
And also, my meme doesn't work because I keep going like, here's your passport, or here's your passport, your citizen ID, your work permit, and people who played Papers, Please is like, oh, well, you did that wrong. You're not supposed to have a work. You don't need a work ID if you have a citizen's permit, or if you're a citizen of Arstotzka, you don't need a work permit. You already live there. And then I reply to that. It's like, well, then I don't have as many things to say. Also, it's funnier if you imagine that I'm like denying it because they put like they gave me all of the paperwork that is all contradictory.
Yeah.
Like I know I don't have I got this passport and a work permit and this ID and a little gold coin and then a football banner.
Right.
Did you do it for a football banner? I'm like, yeah, all right, get out of here. Go team. Oh, sorry. Ahem. This court will take a 10-minute recess. Or in the case of Taylor and New Jack, this court will take a 1-week recess. Unless we're doing this tomorrow night.
Who's running this court anyway? December 26th, 11.
Jack, you need to remind me after the stream. Go to the IMDb for the Matt Berry, and just find all the shows and stuff he's been in, and see if he does a different voice or if that's his whole thing.
That's just what he sounds like.
I like his acting and I like his line delivery, but there is something a little wonky about it. I thought it was a thing he only did for one specific role, and then I saw a second one, and then I saw a third one, and I was like, wait, hold on, is this? I feel like that stand-up comedian who was they were at a hotel lobby, and one of the staff there were like, "Good evening," and she thought it was a bit, and she's like, "Oh, hello." And then they kept talking, and that was their actual accent, and then she was embarrassed.
That's really funny.
Oh, I keep forgetting that there's
that there are
it's not
people
a
who
Transylvanian accent or whatever, but there is a subtype of, I think, British that sounds like how you imagine a vampire would talk. Not a Hotel Transylvania vampire, but a British vampire.
Right.
Good evening and welcome to my castle.
Right. December 26,11:09 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby, no, dot 2. Ashworth, what's going on here?
I'm so nervous.
Your fingerprints were on the murder
Breakfast.
weapon. What about?
You messed up, man.
You missed out on breakfast. We should actually come back to this.
It was
next time.
Yeah. Let's save it here.
Yeah.
I gotta use the restroom, and I have much Matt Berries to search upon.
Indeed. So, thank y'all so much for watching our stream.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching our stream. I can't do it. I need more practice.
And remember, I'm Luigi, and you are too.
I've been Taylor.
I've been Lee Jack.
I'm reminding you to take care.
Stay awesome.
Go watch What We Do in the Shadows. The show. It's quite good.
And drink lots of water. Bye.
Bye-bye! Yo, I had